Welcome back, chat. This season had a little bit of everything. Early season collapse, GM fired midseason, a very, very brief revival, and then a quarterback decision that some say would shake the fan base. To me and Josh, it was long overdue. Tonight, we're breaking down the good, the bad, and the ugly of the 2025 Dolphins. And by the end of this show, there's going to be just one question that matters. Do these people actually know what the hell they're doing? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 305 Gridiron for our final live show of January 2026. That is right. This is the final live show of the month. Everything else that you hear from us here on out will be pre-recorded. So welcome into the show. Glad to see you all. Hope your new year went fantastic. If you're just joining us for the first time since the new year, hope your Christmas, your holiday, everything was amazing. By the way, the Miami Dolphins potentially got a gift of their own for us as the Baltimore Ravens have fired John Harbaugh. Josh, I do not care what it takes. I do not care how much money. I do not care how many draft picks. I do not care anything. Go get John Harbaugh.
Yeah, no, 100%. This dude is everything that this team and this organization needs, and it's not even close. Luckily, no draft picks have to be involved. Thank God, because he has been let go from the team. And I know
why didn't they try to trade him? To give him the choice, I guess.
Well, I've read a report just about an hour before we went live that he and the front office had some beef over coaching decisions and staffing conditions or positions rather. And they mutually parted ways, but then we saw the report yesterday that he was fired. So who the fuck knows? But long and short of it is, to your point, it should matter. I mean, I would be going all in for this dude. Harbaugh is the culture, and I hate using this term, but is that culture change kind of course correction type head coach that we need. I am so tired of the Joe Philbins and the Mike McDaniels and the first time young buzzy coordinators that are getting their first time head coaching jobs. I want somebody that's personally, and I think I can confidently speak for you and probably most of our chat, given what I'm seeing scroll across my screen.
Chat knows what's up. They know what's up.
We just want somebody that's proven, and who else is more proven than this man that's available?
Nobody. I mean,
was it 18 years in the Baltimore organization? He's had multiple, one or two Super Bowl appearances, multiple playoff wins. I think the majority of his years in Baltimore, they were over 10 wins or plus, 10 wins or more, multiple playoff appearances, multiple playoff wins, coaching tree creations, meaning, coordinators that have worked under him have gone on to do bigger and better things at other organizations. This is the type of person you want in this building. Do I think we will have competition to sign him? Absolutely. However, do I think that we have a lot of things in our favor? 1,000,000%, ladies and gentlemen. I think there is quite a lot. I know us fans see this team as bleak going into the offseason. We have a bunch of potential dead cap on the horizon. We have to rip this thing down to the studs. We need a new GM. We need a new potential defensive and offensive coordinators and a whole new staff. And blah, blah, blah. But that is what these type of head coaches want to do. They want to come into an organization, but I'm just going based on history. They want to come into an organization and put their thumbprint and their DNA into rebuilding this thing from the ground up. And what better way to do it than in a state with no state tax? Give them a 10-year deal. Fuck it. Right?
Bro, the highest paid coach in the NFL is $20 million. Double it. You're a billionaire. Who cares?
Thank you.
Like, who cares? It's not my money. There's going to be fans who comment I care. You don't give a shit. It ain't your money either.
Nah,
stop it.
Doesn't matter. And it doesn't count towards the salary cap. So fucking who gives a shit?
Right. What's $40 million a year to potentially get a Super Bowl? something you haven't seen ever as the owner.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't seen as a fan in, I don't know, when was the last time we went and made it to the Super Bowl? Marino's rookie year?
Let's talk about this, though. Let's talk about this. Right. So, Blake,
you're not wrong.
Well,
there's a lot wrong with being here outside of the roster, outside of what the media portrays the team to be and the front office to be. You are not wrong. This team, from the outside perspective, seems to be seen as another Cleveland Browns, Chicago Bears for a long time, Detroit Lions for a long time. It's one of those teams that's just forever dysfunctional. Unfortunately, that's where we have landed. But there's two things: money talks and power talks. Give him power, give him money. If he says no, then you did everything you could have done.
Yes. But there's no half measures here. This isn't, we can't, Stephen Ross and his contingent of people, and Blake, I will get to my response to your question after I say this. Stephen Ross and his contingent of decision makers cannot go into this like they did in, was it 2013 with Sperano? I can't remember what year it was, where his brother,
2011,
where his brother became, coming out of college, wanted to come back into the NFL or whatever it was. I forgot that whole scenario. They got on a plane while still having Tony Sperano under contract and with zero communication, got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. I mean, this is one of those things where fuck Mike McDaniel, fuck this whole coaching staff. You need to let them make your decision now and go full tilt into John Harbaugh. Look, and if it doesn't work, at least you can say as fans and as owners, we did everything. We offered him a shitload of money. We offered him a shitload of control and a shitload of years under contract and security to come here. He decided to go somewhere else. So we pivot, and luckily there are other coaches that we can go to. Now, Blake, to answer, I'm sorry, go ahead, Anthony, before I answer.
Yeah, I think the mindset of the owner, and Taylor said it's a few times, who, we talk to often, the mindset of the owner doesn't make any sense here. If you are interested in John Harbaugh, you have clearly, in your mind, mentally moved on from your current coach. So why is your current coach still in the building?
Exactly.
You're not interested in John Harbaugh if you're happy with your current coach like you say you are. So just rip the Band-Aid off, get it over with, save your fans the freaking grief of having to worry about having this guy around for another year, and just go get somebody else. And like you said, if you try, you put in every effort, and it's visible effort to us, to the fans, that you tried to get Harbaugh and you couldn't, whatevs, man. You tried. There's still going to be fans that hate you, but that's just because there's fans that hate you.
Yeah,
I think the majority of us will be like, well, shit, at least we tried.
Yeah. And from my point of view, at least to answer Blake's question here, this is, it's a dumpster fire here. Why would he want to come here? For a lot of the reasons that we just talked about. Shitload of money, like you said, shitload of time on contract, like you said, and a shitload of control, like you said. But also, outside of this bleak next year and a half where we are in kind of, we have to be very, very smart with how we spend our money, given the dead cap with Tua, getting Tyreek off our contracts, potentially, most likely getting rid of Bradley Chubb, which will free up a lot of money, most likely getting rid of Austin Jackson, which will free us up a lot of money, and a few other handful of players, while also figuring out how to re-sign Achane, for example, and Brooks at the linebacker position, and so on and so forth. Come 2027, we're estimated, based on expected moves, to have close to $100 million in cap space. The following year, based again on estimated moves and estimated cap increase, we're slotted to have almost $152 million in cap space. And that is with everyone that we want off the books and a team full of young rookies and younger players and probably stopgap players that we have the ability to adjust. So it looks bleak now. However, in the near future, we're talking about a team that can make some serious, serious moves. And like I said at the beginning, and like Anthony alluded to earlier, coaches like this, at least in my opinion, really like to build from the ground up. They want to have their thumbprint and their DNA and their hands all over this big ball of clay that they can shape into their own vision. And what better to do it than in sunny South Florida?
There's just so much to say about this too. I mean,
you could do a whole show on this.
Probably should have. We probably should have done breaking news, but it's a busy week already. He has a daughter that plays lacrosse at USF.
Mhm.
That's good intel there. I don't know how you know that, Abel. I don't really
It's a
want
little
to know.
creepy, but I
Don't
respect
ask
it.
questions. Don't ask questions. Yeah, Gator. We talked about this a lot on Monday, man. It was a rage and filled show on Monday, if we're being honest. Because of this. True. This is the thing here. I think it
They're in
really
our
depends
backyard.
what John Harbaugh wants, and we won't know that until he hasn't spoken to the media. He hasn't spoken really to anybody. He's put off all conversations with teams until next week,
Which is really great for us, by the way.
yeah, is great for us because that gives us time to potentially find a GM. But if he wants a say in like who that GM will be, I imagine that Ross would be okay with that. The thing here is that he's stuck with the GM in New York. They've already brought him back, and maybe they would get rid of him to bring in John. Who knows? Down here, he gets to do whatever he wants. So if he wants to start fresh, he has no quarterback. He gets to pick his own. We don't have a GM. He can pick his own. Like the roster has a few good pieces, but not so many where he can't just cut whoever he doesn't like and bring in his own guys.
Pretty much.
He has a connection to Anthony Weaver, but I don't think that's a great connection, so I wouldn't expect Weaver to stick around.
No, and Weaver's, ironically enough, just got brought in for an interview, or they requested an interview for Baltimore's head coaching job. And
Stephen Ross, to me, is not a guy that's going to go to him and say, you can't have this offensive coordinator.
No.
Which, Todd Monken, for everything he'd done great years past, it was a challenging year for him and his team. So
I wouldn't mind, dude. I would. I would not mind.
This right here. It depends what level of challenge he's looking for at this stage of his career. He was in Baltimore for 18 years.
Yep.
Does he want to just get a team over the hump? Like Atlanta? They got a pretty decent roster there. Does he want to go in there? The Giants don't have that good of a roster, but Atlanta's got a really good one. Yeah. Cleveland's got a lot of good pieces on defense. Does he want to go in and see if he can fix that offense? Like, it's just all what does he want?
Yeah, and not to mention, where we keep harping on money talks, that is a real thing. If he goes to New York, he's paying 32% in state tax and in taxes. In Florida, he's paying 0%. Yeah. So he gets to keep a shitload of money in his pocket, depending on where he decides to go. And I'm not saying it's going to be either of those two spots, but those are the two that keep getting brought up.
This is such a good point. I think this buys you at least 5 years of fan patience.
Oh my God!
A move like this, I mean,
yeah. If you, I don't know if I can do a backflip, but I'll definitely fucking try live on a podcast.
And if your plan is to hand your team off to your daughter, do you want to hand the team off to your daughter with Mike McDaniel at the head, or with John Harbaugh at the head?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
If Ross can pull us off and get that man in the building with a new GM, I'd forget about almost everything that happened this year. We can delete all of the first season of 305 Gridiron. We'll start fresh.
Yeah, we'll even rename the podcast if that's what it takes. Look, all bullshit and tongue-in-cheek jokes aside, there could not have been a more accurate statement. Talk about being able to show your fan base that you get it, that you finally get it. You finally understand the mistakes that you made in the past, and you are doing every single possible thing that you can do to rectify those mistakes. This is the type of signing, and this is the type of choice that a owner can make that will satiate all of us, which has never happened before. Because to your point earlier, there's always the fan base is always split. You got some that are always going to like your moves, some that are always going to hate your moves. This is the kind of thing that unites fan bases.
It'd be as the most united this fan base has been since we had Marino.
Oh, 100%. Since we had Shula.
We had both of them at the same time. Which thinking about that now,
coach. I was trying to just
thinking about that now seems insane that we had those two at the same time. Just saying. I think this is a minor worry given the rest of his resume. And the fact that they almost still made it. They were a field goal kick away from making the playoffs this year after starting the same record as us. They were also 2-6.
So, Gator, you're telling me that if he says, yeah, I want to sign here, you're like, nah, I'm good, because you had a 48-year-old Derrick Henry who broke a foot, and it was a collective. That was a collective effort, in my opinion. I know it comes to the ultimate decision comes down to the head coach, but you know what? Fuck it.
So what are we going to talk about today outside of John Harbaugh? This is a great point here, by the way. I think if we can get a strong GM in here and his first order of business is to fire McDaniel, get some fans being super pumped about that. Mm-hmm. All right, today we're talking about the 2025 season that was a bit of a dumpster fire, as you all know. You've been here for quite some time. Talking to you, True Blazer, Abel, Jorge, Cap for Life. Welcome back, buddy. Blake was in here too. DeMarcus Hayes, welcome, I believe, for the first time. Just popped in and said Chiefs. I don't know what the hell that means, but welcome in, man. I don't know if I said Abel, Gator. Who else? Who did I miss?
Frozen. I know he's not here, but Frozen.
Frozen. He don't get a shout out till he comes in. Get in here, Dirk.
Fins fan, right? Those are our guys.
Yeah, those are our guys. Yeah. So we finished 7-10. We missed the playoffs for the second time in a row, second straight losing season.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It started with I don't know if you can call it collapse if you just start on the floor, but we started the season really, really, really poorly.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little bit of a bounce back when we faced quarterbacks who had no right even being quarterbacks in the league. That helped us out a little bit. And then as soon as we faced another real quarterback, we went back to being really, really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So finished messy, 38-10 loss to the Patriots. I mentioned this on Monday. We have only won the final week of the season one time since Mike McDaniel's been the coach, and that was an 11-6 victory over the Jets.
That's crazy.
That's not great.
Criminal. That's criminal.
Yeah. By the way, all 4 final weeks of the season were against division opponents. So we've gotten shellacked by a division opponent in the final week of the season 3 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close.
Yeah, a snapshot of the season is exactly what you said. Early collapse, midseason reset, fucking third quarter blowouts that we can't figure out how to come out of halftime with our juice boxes and orange slices. You get that short burst kind of in the third kind of quarter of the season, right, where we win 5 of 6 or 6-8 or whatever the hell the number were. And then you just an absolute collapse at the end. Not even considering how the Tua situation was handled, which I'm glad that he was benched, but questions can be had. Should he have been benched earlier? I mean, he did lead the league in interceptions and like horribly regressed, not even slightly regressed, horribly regressed in all key major statistical categories that you grade a quarterback on. And 1,000 other questions that we touch on all the time. I don't know. It's just one of those things where, this is, yes, it's a season of nightmares, right? And it gives me a little bit of hope that with some of the decisions that we are at least seeing reports that this team are making when it comes to GM interviews, how they are conducting said interviews, what they are saying about Mike McDaniel in said interviews. Tell us what you would do with Mike. Tell us what you would do without Mike. Going hard seemingly after John Harbaugh based on all of the reports that we're seeing, unless, you're who's the guy? Adam Barry, who says we haven't talked to him at all. It's, I don't know. This season was tough. This season was real tough.
And to your point, I mean, first half of that Patriots game, it was 14-10.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say we were playing well. Our defense was getting absolutely. I mean, Ramondre ended up with 7 carries for 130 yards, by the way. 7 carries.
Yeah, he had 102 yards at halftime.
We didn't score a point the rest of the game. Absolutely crazy. So before we dive in, our first topic of conversation today is Chris Grier, fired midseason. What does the GM search look like now? Who are we interviewing? Who are we talking to? What have we heard and seen from the media that maybe you guys haven't kept up on? Because I know like a lot of people need a break after the season. Totally don't blame you. We need a break too, but we've chosen to do this, so we don't really get one.
Right.
Before we get into that, though, give us your 2025 season letter grade, A through F.
No pluses and minuses, just solid grades.
Pick a grade. Pick A, B, C, D, or F. For whatever reason, when people chose the grading rules, they left E out. If you want to give them an E, give them an E. That's fine.
Do you want to go over our grades before we get into?
What's that?
Do you want to go over our kind of overarching season grades since we're going to get into GMs and the good, bad, and the ugly later? I don't think we ever come back to this.
No, I say we do it at the end.
Okay,
me and you.
Cool.
This is similar to our X Factor and our bold prediction and our final score. This is typically where our preview show would be. So this is taking the place of that. Give us a letter grade for the season as a whole. Josh, add it to the end of the show notes so we don't forget.
That's
We will give
literally
ours
what
at
I'm
the end of
doing.
the show.
Literally doing that as you were talking, because I will forget.
Let's get into our front office earthquake.
Yeah.
GM being fired in the middle of the season. It's an extremely unusual thing to happen. Usually a GM is fired like right after the season or right after the draft if the GM, if they want to allow the GM to and the coach and the scouting team to complete their cycle. We fired ours like week 8 or something like that. Week 9.
Week 9.
Champ Kelly came in as the interim GM right before the trade deadline. He had 5 days to make anything happen. The only thing he was really able to make happen was shipping off Jalen Phillips to Philadelphia.
Which was a great move. All things
it was a great move. I know Jalen is playing well in Philly. I have a Philly fan as a friend who reminds me all the time, as if I give a shit. It was a first round bust for us, so I don't really care. Yeah, man. So midseason firing. Really shook owner confidence, I think, in the fan base. The very few fan base members who had confidence in Stephen Ross anymore were kind of shook by this because it's like, yeah, we wanted this to happen, but midseason's kind of weird. And then the reality of what is an interim GM, man? What has Champ Kelly's role been? Like, what are his chances of actually getting promoted to the full-time GM?
Yeah, that's tough because we heard right when all of this happened was Champ Kelly came on, was it last offseason or the season before? I can't remember. Actively reported that he did not want the general manager role. He liked being in his kind of niche role where he was more of a consultant on staff more than anything, kind of got his fingers in a lot of pots. But which is what made it a little confusing when he took over, because you didn't know exactly like, well, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Are you trying to audition for the job? Are you trying to just hold down the fort? Are you trying to make decisions in the best interest of the vision down the road? Are you trying to make decisions in a vacuum where what do we need to do in this very moment to be better, to be more competitive, to better our chances at making this team more attractive down the road, and so on and so forth? And it was very clear early on that at least from my opinion, that he was less auditioning and more just he was doing everything he could for evaluation, for player evaluation, for foundational piece evaluation, for cap space evaluation, for draft capital evaluation, and really setting the table for whomever was to come in, whether it be him or somebody else. Just so happens that he is also getting interviewed based on my understanding. The one thing that confused the hell out of me, and I'll be curious to hear your thoughts about this.
Sure.
Why did it take us so long to get rid of Grier? Not just this season, but I'm talking about in general. We've been talking about how bad Grier has been for years. I mean, half a decade plus, how bad this man has been at his job. Can't draft, has struck out more times than he succeeded in the early rounds of the draft. Mid rounds have been meh. Late rounds is actually where he succeeded at. He has been able to find quite a lot of late round gems, if you will, right? Players that can contribute in the 6th, 7th, and 7th round. But I just don't understand how he stuck around so long. And then we start the season with him, and then he gets let go after 9 games. Like, the vision didn't make sense to me. That seemed very reactionary.
Oh, 1000%. And yeah. I think, to me, and I've heard, some of the South Florida radio stations talk about this as well. Stephen Ross tends to give you the benefit of the doubt until he doesn't have it anymore, until his final thread is snapped, right? And I think he kept Grier around, 1, because he liked him, 2, because Ross likes to look at the whole picture rather than the recent, recency bias. So when he looked at the whole picture of Chris Grier, Grier, I didn't really give him the chance at first because I brought in a VP of player personnel who was helping him out in whatever that guy's name is, a douchebag. And then when I finally did give him a chance, just give him a few years to get his feet under him. He made that great Laramie Tunsil trade, so I give him mad props for that, And I think this is kind of how Ross's mind works, which, by the way, I think this is a great mindset in a regular
Sure.
business setting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a regular business setting, if you are the type of person who grows your people and likes to give them the benefit of the doubt and likes to help boost their confidence and build them up, I love that. But it does not work in the NFL more often than not, right?
Yep.
Because a GM of an NFL team, a head coach of an NFL team, that's the top echelon, man. That's your CEO. That's the guy running the show. And I think there is such a thing as too much patience. And we're seeing it right now again with Mike McDaniel, right?
Mhm.
All we are hearing from media heads about why he's still here is excuses, right? Oh, I want to see him have a chance with another GM. Oh, I want to see him have a chance with another quarterback, right? It's the same philosophy. So the philosophy of the owner has not changed. Our patience for the owner has very much changed. Because, when he first came on, it's a new owner. I think a lot of fans loved Huizenga, so we were a little bit beat up about that.
Yeah.
But even the fan base, that's at a certain point when a guy first gets here, has a level of understanding and allows
There's a
them
learning
to grow.
curve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They understand that there's a learning curve to being an owner of an NFL team that's very different from owning a real estate business, which is where he made his money. Right.
Mm.
But now it's nearly 2 decades as the owner. Fans have had enough. We have seen countless head coaches who come in and failed after gutting the entire roster, gutting fan favorite players, right? And then doing nothing with the result of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen Chris Grier come in and talk his way seemingly to an extension after extension of being the GM by saying, well, I just do whatever the coach wants to do, right?
Well, and that's the type of GM he was
Right.
in the beginning. He's never been the type that's like, going to push back on the coach.
But
Which
I think that's largely why Greer or why Ross was just kind of like, yeah, you're right. You're just doing what the coach wants to do. Maybe I need to get a new coach in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ross finally came, or somebody in Ross's circle finally came and was like, hey, man,
like, bro,
if it looks like a turd and it smells like a turd,
it's probably a turd.
It's probably a turd.
It's not your grandmother's china. It's a turd.
Yeah. I mean, there's a 1% chance it's not, but this ain't it.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, I think largely that's just the philosophy of the owner, and I think we have grown very impatient with that philosophy.
Yeah, and it's funny because something you alluded to just a second ago about us being patient with Mike McDaniel. I don't know how true those reports are because those came from a couple sources that have since said some very questionable things about the Harbaugh situation and the GM situation. So I'm really curious to even hear, because that same source or at least one of the sources that I saw that exact quote from also said that Mike McDaniel was going to be part of the GM interviews. Well, that's the furthest thing from the fucking truth because he's not even in the vicinity of it. It's something that he said in an interview that, hey, I have over 20 years experience. If they want to talk to me and tap into set experience, I'm here because I'm still the head coach of this football team, but in no way, shape. So, I would like to believe, based on everything we've heard, that Ross and his contingent has learned from their mistakes. I am probably going to be proven wrong, but I am at least putting a foot forward and trying to be positive a little bit with what we've heard, who they are going after, which let's talk about that now.
I'll just say one more thing. It's not a bad point about McDaniel, but we started 1-6, and you should have fired him when we started 1-6.
Well, he shouldn't have been the head coach of this football team this year.
No, he should not have. The end of year fiasco that was last year was a disaster. Yep. And then you had 2 guys who were essentially in no man's land for this season, and now one of them is still here. Makes no sense. But let's talk about GM candidates who are confirmed to have been reached out to by the Dolphins. I don't believe we have any confirmations on actual interviews yet.
Yep. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Most of them have been completed. All of them should be completed by tonight, from what I'm being told and what I've read.
Sweet.
And decisions should be made probably end of week, beginning of next. We should have a new GM.
Yeah.
So
welcome to the show, by the way, Daryl. I just want to pop in. I believe he's a new viewer. So welcome in, buddy. Good to have you here.
We've been saying that since fucking the beginning of the season because I'll tell you what, if I saw how this GM and how Grier and how McDaniel decided to keep Tyreek Hill on this team after the shit he pulled at the end of the season, I would have gotten rid of all three of them.
The end of last season is like a masterclass on how not to handle a situation.
Oh God, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Another good question here: why did it take us so long to change quarterback?
Well, that was because, in my opinion, and actually, before we get into the candidates, how off do you think I am on this point? I mean, they are tied at the hip, no pun intended. Tua and McDaniel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, McDaniel, we all know Tua was here before McDaniel. McDaniel was hired specifically to try to fix Tua, which is the only conceivable thing that I can come up with as to why we stuck with Tua as long as we did this year.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah,
that and the fact that we don't have any other quarterback because they brought in Zach Wilson
instead of
and who didn't even win the backup job, by the way. And then Quinn, who was okay. I think this is a good point here. There's plenty of people who were assistants on this team that are head coaches now, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. Like there's lots of talent out there that was here in this building.
It's kind of crazy sometimes when we're playing another team and like it's their offensive coordinator and that team's like 13-2 and they're like, this used to be the assistant water boy for the Miami Dolphins in the Joe Philbin era. Like,
I love when they show Dan Quinn in the Dolphins uniform because he hasn't changed a goddamn lick. He looks exactly the same. It looks like they just photoshopped a Dolphins uniform on him. It's hilarious. This is I forgot about this actually. Mike said I can't find the players because they make too much. He should have been fired.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe, man. Maybe. So let's talk about the candidates, man. Champ Kelly's the interim GM. Yep. Chad Alexander is the Chargers assistant GM, was added to the list late, we believe, because of his ties to the Harbaughs.
Yes, 100%.
Tariq Ahmad from the 49ers, he's the VP of Player Personnel. RJ Gillen is the 49ers assistant GM. Josh Williams is the 49ers Director of Scouting and Football Operations. So we have the entire 49ers executive office in the building this week. Hopefully they don't have any strong decisions to make back home.
Yeah. Or hopefully they're not getting brought in because we're keeping Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. We have Alec Hallaby, the Eagles assistant GM, who we're big fans of. John McKay, the Rams assistant GM, who I think we were also big fans of. And then lastly, John Eric Sullivan, Packers VP of Player Personnel, who I don't know much about. I know you don't know much about, but there are other people in Dolphins circles like Kyle Krabs, who are big fans of his.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of interviews of him as like Packer interviews of his.
Yeah,
and I'm turning into a huge fan of JES.
So these are 6, 7, 8 people, if you count Champ Kelly, who's an intern, who are interviewing for the job right now. I would be surprised if this isn't the final list. I think why would you wait and send out a second list? That doesn't make any sense to me. But out of this group, who's speaking to you the most out of this group right now?
Well, for me, it's down to 3 people, really. My favorite and my personal choice is Alec Hallaby from the Eagles. I think, it really kind of depends what you want. Do you want more of the CEO type or do you want more of the hands in the dirt GM that's got a background in scouting, that has a background in player development and coaching and so on and so forth, like John Eric Sullivan? But yeah, Alec Hallaby from the Eagles, that organization is just run so well. He's been at their current GM side for 20 plus years almost, I believe is what the number is. Actually has been running from what I read, the Eagles drafts and their draft rooms and their draft board creation sessions and stuff in place of their current GM. And so it just everything that he's from Harvard. He's a smart dude. He's good with numbers. He's got a cap background. I really like what he brings. I'd say my number 2 probably is the Sullivan from the Packers. I didn't know much about him when this list first came out. And the reason I dug into him was honestly because of Locked On Dolphins, Kyle Krabs. Shout out to you. And I watched a ton of interviews. I've did deep dives into his background, his coaching, what he's done. He came on as like a 20. They used to do a 20-20 where 22-year-old or less, you would make $20,000 a year and you had to grind your way up. You'd start as like an assistant to an assistant to an assistant and then work your way up. And that's where he started. So he's had his fingers and his toes in every single part of an organization. Has a really, really good,
Probably stinks if he's had his toes in it.
Jesus Christ. You are such a dad with your dad jokes.
Love you, buddy. Keep going.
And he's got from everything that I'm reading and everything that I've watched, he seems to have a really good grasp on how to build a team. Like, what's the right way to build a team? And my favorite thing that he said of everything that I've heard is he believes in building a team from the inside out, which is my philosophy as well, which is great to hear. He's going to focus on the lines. He's going to then go out. We're not going to have Ferraris and snowstorms and nobody's that can block. And then I think my third one, for the simple fact that he was added late and what it means to us potentially getting Harbaugh, is Chad Alexander. I like him by himself. I think he's done great things as the assistant GM at the Chargers. They've drafted very well. They have very good talent, like eyes for talent. And I'll be really curious to see who we sign. What are your thoughts? Who do you like?
Yeah, interestingly enough, I don't, because there's so many 49ers on this list, I just don't know which one to pick. I don't know what role each of them played in the building of this roster. And if they all played a small piece of the pie, then I don't want any of them because, well, none of them had a significant impact on the roster.
I think Tariq Ahmad's probably the one that's had the most to do with that roster.
But. Yeah. Chad Alexander, I'm only interested if the Harbaugh connection means something to Harbaugh. Yes, the Chargers have had some good talent, but this is not a team I look at as a winning organization. They haven't gone deep in the playoffs a lot. They haven't made it to a Super Bowl recently, whereas the other candidates we're looking at from the Eagles, the Rams, and the Packers all come from teams who have had a myriad of success in the last few years, especially. That Rams team knows how to work the cap like no other team I've ever seen. The Packers philosophy is one that I've always loved, despite Packers fans growing to hate it. They have this philosophy of building from the inside out, build through the draft, pay your guys, which is something we freaking suck at. How many times have we come on this show and complained about not paying our guys? And then Alec Hallaby's a guy we've been talking about for weeks now, since it became obvious, since Greer got fired and we started talking about candidates. We've been talking about Alec Hallaby coming from the Eagles, right-hand man to the GM over there.
Yeah, so, good, because you couldn't remember his name either.
I'm blanking on his name.
I blanked on it. I was like, to the GM at the Eagles.
Yeah. So those are I like the Eagles, Rams, and Packers guys. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know a butt ton about them and about their philosophies, but the organizations they come from are what I am the most impressed with. And the 49ers are crushing it. Don't get me wrong.
They are.
They're doing great. But there's a lot of hands in that pie, and I don't know which hand is the one that's actually making it. So
true story.
So I'd rather stick with the other guys here. Daryl, I'm going to save your one comment for the coaching piece because we're about to get into coaching. And I think that's a really interesting take that we don't see a lot.
Well, now I need.
He does pass on the 49ers fans, the 49ers players. So the fad of bringing people from the 49ers. It's true. There's also been, one for the Rams too. All right, Josh, let's get into our season's grades because we asked the chat to give us their grades on the season, and many of them obliged. Jorge gives them a D. Blake, I'm skipping because he actually changed it. Gator gave it a D. Blake gave it a C because Ross fired Greer. Abel went with a D as well. If you didn't get your grade in, feel free to get your grade in now. And I'm not the only dad joker here. There we go, baby.
Luckily, this isn't a family-friendly show.
I'm not alone. Maybe one day. So, Josh, what grade do you give this team for this season?
You know what? If you don't mind, I would like you to go first because mine might shock you.
F.
Oh, okay. Well, we have the same grade. Never mind.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck. F for fuck. There you go.
I can't think of many things about this season that I enjoyed. Even the win streak, while it was fun, and we had a blast on this show talking wins, which we didn't get to do a lot this year, it was against nobodies. The Bills win was the greatest day that I've had as a Dolphins fan in years. And they'll never take that from me. But it was the only positive moment in this season. And for one positive moment, I cannot give you more than an F.
No, perfectly said. Yeah, for me, this was an F all the way around. Yes, that Bills win was great. I'm not putting anything past how monumental, and it actually kind of sucks that we have to put it in that kind of that kind of light but it was a really monumental win. It was a big win, right?
It was 1,000 days since we beat them.
I know, but everything else that this team put on the field outside of Achane, perfect. Beat me to it, Gator. Outside of Achane, and maybe the actual final benching of Tua finally, but even that was 6 games too late.
Yeah,
it was just horrible. This was an F all around, and it wasn't particularly close to me.
Let me explain further, guys. I agree with the Achane comment, but we knew Achane was great, right? And I still think we underutilized him this year. But coming into this season, there was a lot of question marks because last year we were told the status quo isn't good enough, right? Then we start the year. Where'd my schedule go? We start the year 0-3, including 2 divisional losses. And then we barely beat the Jets. Then we get stomped on by the Browns a few weeks later. The Browns stomped on us, right? 1-6. For a team that was supposed to not accept the status quo, for a team that was supposed to be a playoff contender, for a team that was supposed to be more successful this year. That's what we were told. That's what we were sold. None of it happened. So if you compare our season to the expectations, I cannot go above an F on this team.
Yeah, perfectly said.
Let's talk coaching here, because I think that's a big reason of how we ended up here. But before we get to that, what are your guys' thoughts? Another chat prompt. I told you at the beginning, if you weren't here early, I said in the beginning of the show, we have a lot of prompts for you today, so get those fingers ready, because we have a lot of questions for you, ladies and gentlemen of the chat. Are you keeping McDaniel, or are you cleaning house? I know what Daryl's doing, because he already put it in the chat. He was ahead of the curve here, but what are the rest of you doing? Keep or cut? What is that little game they play? Like Kiss, Bang, or Kill or something like that?
Oh, God. Please don't.
Weird game. Yeah. Keep or cut is a lot cleaner. Let's talk about the coach, man. The coach, Mike McDaniel, 4th season with the team.
Yep.
A mild amount of success in his first 2 years, and now absolute abject failure in the final 2 years. Hasn't grown to adapt it to defenses adapting to him. He talks like somebody who has never spoken to another human being before. His interviews are painful. Yeah. I've listened to very few of them recently because I just can't get through them.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. I read the transcript because it's cleaner.
Now, we saw the team respond after the GM firing, right? We saw it after Greer got fired, and I think it's a mix of that and a bit of a cupcake schedule. Yep. We saw some adjustments. We actually saw adjustments from McDaniel. I personally think it was too little too late. What are your thoughts on the 2025 season for Mike McDaniel?
Oh, it was fucking abject failure. I mean, like almost borderline criminally bad, in my opinion, for the simple fact that he didn't adjust when it mattered. We talk about adjustments. There were some visible to start games. We saw he shifted to a heavier offensive line set. He was focusing on running the ball more. That's what we were begging for, using the tight ends more. That's what we wanted. We wanted heavier formation so that there were more people blocking for the quarterback, and he did it. Yep. But the single most important sticking point for me, other than the fact that he just is not good, was the third quarter historical meltdowns all year. Even in the winning streak, we were outscored 132-27 from a point standpoint in the third quarter. There have only been 4 other teams that have done that in the history of the NFL. Some worse than us, which I believe one of them was the Bills a couple years ago, and a few from like the 80s. Yeah. You just saw that. What happened in the locker room? Like, what did you guys would go in at halftime, and you most of these games were relatively close at half, down a touchdown, maybe 10 points, maybe even 14 points. You're like, okay, we got this. We just got to go in at half. We get the ball back, or we don't, but we just got to get a stop. We have to figure that. And then we get fucking boat raced every single game, and you blink and it's 34-14. And you're like, okay, well, this game is fucked. See you later. I'm going to go play some video games. We'll talk about this shit on Monday, you know?
And if you think back even to the Bills game, the same thing happened. The only reason we won that game is because Achane lifted this team, put it on his shoulders. He had like a 58-yard run and a 42-yard run for a touchdown in the second half of that game to absolutely blow it out. But like,
you can literally say that about every win.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is not a single win this year where Achane's fingerprints were not on it. I'm sorry.
I love that we have somebody in the chat now that has a different opinion, though. So Daryl wants to see McDaniel get another year with a GM and give him whatever toys he wants. Which, by the way, I feel like Greer was giving him whatever toys he wants. So that statement I don't necessarily agree with, but I do appreciate the fact that there's somebody who wants to see McDaniel get another year, even if I don't agree with it. He also loves the press conferences, which good for you, man. I can't handle it anymore.
It's hard, dude.
I loved when him and Rich Eisen did like the whole thing when he first got hired, and he went on the Rich Eisen show, and Rich was like, "Hey man, do something for me. You seem like a fun guy. Try to get every coaching, like, what do they call that? Like coach speak.
Yeah,
like all the typical coach speak terms that you would hear in an interview. He's like, I want you to get them. I want to get to them all in one interview." And McDaniel did it, and then Eisen ran up to the podium, and they high-fived, and all the media was so confused because they clearly don't watch Rich's show. And that was amazing. And I thought to myself, this guy is going to be freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Flash forward 4 years, I cannot wait to get rid of him. And it's bad,
I wish
man.
they would, I know he has to, he's contractually obligated to talk to the media, but I wish there was a way we could just send somebody else out.
Put a mime out there or something.
Put anyone out there. Put me out there. I don't care. Just not him, please.
I think my biggest beef with this coaching staff in this last 4 years is that our identity has just gone away. It disappeared. Mm-hmm. When he first came in, the identity was very clear. The identity was, I am going to be fast, I am going to be explosive, and we are going to make big plays to dominate the game. Mm-hmm. The identity was clear. It was there for the first 2 years. And then when his identity got smashed in the mouth to start 2024, when he couldn't throw it down the field anymore because everybody started playing cover 2 and cover in the middle of the field, nothing he did worked.
No, he doubled down. He tripled down.
Right. Yeah. What did he do? He kept throwing more screens to help out the run because his offensive line wasn't good enough. That was the.
Well, what did we say on the show? 700 times between the start of the season and today, which was this was an already purposely complicated offense. A lot of motions, lots of eye candy for the defense. When things started to go south for him, we said this so many times that you guys are probably tired of listening to it.
Probably.
Instead of changing it, which he finally did, he would double and triple down, make an already complicated offense overly let's throw in another screen. Let's throw in another motion. Let's do this. Let's do that. And it was just like, dude, let your players fucking play. Stop with the fucking fancy bullshit. Put your quarterback behind center. Put your running back behind the quarterback. Put your wide receivers and your tight ends out wide. We're on the line. And just fucking play football.
Instead, we got to watch Dylan Gabriel on the other side get put in a position to just throw basic plays and hand the ball off to Quinshon Judkins as they whoop our asses 31-6. But we can't simplify the offense even a lick. Not until after that game.
Yeah, and Daryl, I agree with you. Everything that I'm saying has nothing to do with how smart I think he is. This dude is a savant when it comes to play design. Genuinely. He just doesn't have it upstairs to, a head coach is so much more than an offensive coordinator. It's so much more. You have to worry about schedules, training, meals, travel, who's practicing, medical evals, concussion protocols, challenging, watching film. It's too much for him.
He wasn't ready. We've talked about it a ton.
He's going to be an amazing coach down the road.
He got this job because interviewers even said this to the media who asked them. Stephen Ross said, you need to make Tua work when he was interviewing. No other fucking coach wanted to touch that.
Yeah.
Nobody else wanted to touch that. So what do we end up with? A guy who is severely underqualified for the head coaching position. He's only been an offensive coordinator for 1 year on a team where he's not the one who handles the plays. Shanahan calls the plays over there. Mm-hmm. And he ends up as our head coach.
Yep.
And, hey, man, you did a great job for being thrown into the fire the way you were.
Yeah.
Right?
Props where props are due, man. I mean,
but
2023 was a hell of a season.
It's time to go learn how to handle the other levels of being a head coach before you come back to it, right? And maybe he'll never will. We've seen it with Josh McDaniel in New England. He's had multiple opportunities to be a head coach. He can't figure it out. He's an amazing offensive coordinator, perhaps one of the greatest we've ever seen.
Of all time. I'm not like waxing poetic. I genuinely mean that.
I think I agree. Maybe the greatest offensive coordinator of all time. Mm-hmm. He has sucked as a head coach.
Horrible. Absolutely.
And maybe we'll see that with McDaniels too. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Who knows? Yep. You know, and this is another piece here, going back to the owner. How do you give up all those picks for tampering and not get any of the fucking people you tampered with?
Yeah, well, we can do a whole show on that stuff too.
Oh, he wasn't even the OC, he was a run game coordinator. Thank you for the correction, April.
Yeah, but he did. My understanding was he was the run game coordinator, but he was also the key contributor in play designs. So he came with the scheme, and he came with the knowledge of how to build plays upon the scheme that he was running. But he had zero insight and zero experience, or even he was not even introduced into every other thing that goes into being a head coach.
And I think, maybe Ross just got swept up in the coach of the Rams, whose name I'm also blanking on. Jesus Christ. Maybe he got swept up in that guy got McVay. Yeah, McVay gets the head coaching job at 32 or something like that. So maybe he's swept up in this whole youth movement thing. And oh my God, we'll bring him in. He'll be fantastic. But everybody has you should have known when you're interviewing this guy, the maturity level ain't there yet, right? No. I'm all for having fun. I'm all for being a super hype up your players. All that. I'm similar at work. I tend to I don't try to be like Mike McDaniel. I've always been that way. But I tend to be the excited, fun one at work too. But man, when you are looking for the leader of your team and you're interviewing him, you have to be able to see in that interview, oh man, he would be a great offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can convince our next head coach to hire him on. Yeah. And not, oh man, he would be a great head coach, because that ain't it.
No, and he did great things with Tua. Tua was, genuinely, Tua was broken after.
He made us feel like Tua was actually a good quarterback.
And Tua was for 2023. Tua led the league. Tua was fucking good. Props were props to do. Tua was fucking amazing in 2023.
1 year wonder.
Except when it mattered.
Yeah. 1 year. We didn't beat a single playoff team.
Right.
No. So we saw what you guys felt. For those of you who are watching later, the majority of the chat was okay with getting rid of McDaniel. That's to answer our question. Daryl wants to give him a fifth year, mainly because we haven't had a guy last past 4 years in a really, really, really long time. Probably since I was a child. All right, guys, give us one word to describe Mike McDaniel's 2025 season, and we are going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is where we're largely talking about players, finally. It only took us 52 minutes to get into the players of this team. No big deal. The good, my friend, I'll let you start it off, because he deserves all the praise in the world, because he is legitimately maybe our only good player.
Yeah, there was only one right answer to kick this off, and that's De'Von Achane. Yeah. Top 5 in running backs, and top 5 in the league in yards per scrimmage, 30% of all of our offensive touchdowns. Right. I'm sorry, 35% of our entire offensive touchdown production.
That's nuts. And he missed a game.
And he missed a game, right? And he missed a half of another one. Yeah. And for the season, despite teams knowing the impact what he was going to do, how many touches he was going to get, how involved he is in our offense, kind of the offense revolves around Achane, he still averaged over 5 yards per touch, which is insanity. This dude is no short of fucking good. That's the only way that I can describe him to people. He is every single thing you want in a running back. He can catch. He's gotten much better at his blocking. He's not there yet. He's not a top of the league running back from a blocking back, right?
Yeah.
But again, you don't need him to be. He's fast. He's shifty. His vision has gotten much better. And I think he's a top 3, top 4 running back in this league.
Beginning of the year, I compared him to Christian McCaffrey, and a lot of people did not like that very much. But hey, I stand by it. I think he's a twitch less good than McCaffrey. But I think he is right up there with him.
Yeah, he's also 25 pounds lighter.
He He didn't get a chance to go for the 2,000-yard season because he got hurt and he didn't play the final. But he was right there with Bijan. He was right there with Christian McCaffrey. He was right there with James Cook and Jonathan Taylor and Jahmyr Gibbs. Right there, man.
Yeah, this guy,
absolutely amazing.
I don't know what he's going to get, but I mean,
probably not as much as he deserves because the running backs just don't get paid.
No, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't bat an eye if we got a report saying we signed him to a 5-year deal that averages 18 to 19 million a year. Be like, all right, cool. I'm not saying that he's going to get that much.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he just, maybe that's a lot, but I mean, the top 3 or 4 running backs are making close to 20. Some of them are just over 20. And I think Achane is genuinely in that conversation.
Could be, man. Could be. I think the way the team is built right now, I don't know that I want to do that, but I
mean, what's the other option, right? I mean, trade him, I guess, to see what you can.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, to your point, running backs aren't valued, so you're not going to get much.
If a team thinks he's as good as McCaffrey, we could.
True.
McCaffrey warranted a pretty hefty. He's in his prime.
What did he get? I don't remember what. I mean, that was pretty. That was a wild trade.
I want to say it was 2 firsts, but I don't remember.
Oh fuck! If somebody wants to give us 2 firsts for each,
I don't think anybody's going to do that nowadays. But
I might consider it.
All right, I'll go with number 2. I think it's the tight end revival. At the beginning of this year, I personally was really bummed that we lost Jonnu Smith. I thought he did have an amazing season last year, record-breaking season for the Miami Dolphins. I really thought, they were only like $2 million apart on salary or something like that. I thought to myself, why not just give the guy the money? He's been such an amazing part of the team. We traded him away for pennies to the Steelers, where he kind of got lost in a tight end shuffle. And meanwhile, we traded for Darren Waller, who was retired at the time. And I remember thinking to myself, what the hell are we doing, man?
You were not thrilled on that podcast, dude.
For the first 6 weeks of the year, we didn't have a tight end presence because Julian Hill was hurt. We had Hayden Rucci marching out there. We hadn't yet had, we had Dolchik on the practice squad, and Darren Waller hadn't yet been cleared of, being in football shape because he was retired for a year. This unit bounced back better than anybody in the second half of the year, man. Dolchik looks like a guy that we could keep around on a 2 or 3 year deal, and I'd be super pumped about that.
Same.
I don't know if Darren Waller's interested in coming back and playing again. He faced a lot of injuries this year. He might just be like, oh yeah, I remember why I decided to retire. But if he decided to come back for another year, him and Dolchik made a great pairing. And fuck, who was comeback player of the year for the Miami Dolphins other than Julian goddamn Hill? This is a guy that we absolutely tore apart last year. Every single
What did we call him?
Jillian Hill. He was awful in 2024. In 2025, great. Dude's out there looking like a freaking bulldozer with the ball in his hands, despite not getting very many opportunities. When he did, he balled out. So to me, this tight end room deserves a hell of a lot of credit. Only really played a half of a season, and they still made our good list here.
Yeah, it was the highest tight end usage rate under Mike McDaniel.
Which is crazy considering we had an 800-yard freaking receiver in Jonnu last year.
Yep. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. Darren Waller, he looks fucking good, man. I mean, still.
I don't know if he's going to come back, but
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it was kind of the Phillip Rivers thing, which people are saying now. Phillip Rivers came back. He's got like 37 kids, and he came back because it gives him another 5 years of health insurance. Right?
Smart man. Smart man.
Not lying. If that's the truth, fucking good on you, buddy. And maybe that's why Darren Waller came back. I don't know. But I hope he does come back, maybe on another year, maybe a team option for year 2 or something if he decides that he wants to play. But I tell you what, I'd be banging on Dolchik's door today and saying, dude, we 3-4 year deal, the 3-year deal, 4th year team option, whatever the case is. He's a fucking great tight end.
Yeah. Reminded me a lot of Tyler Warren out there, just in size and stature.
Yeah.
Not playability. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Not production. But in size and stature, like if you had put him in the Colts number, whatever that Tyler Warren's wearing, I don't know if I would have been able to tell the difference.
No, I mean he's the Dollar General version of Tyler Warren.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. I mean, fuck, that's all. He's a good enough blocker. He's a really good route runner, and he catches the ball and he doesn't fumble. Except for
Jeff, remind me, could we have had Tyler Warren this year?
Nope. I don't want to talk about it. Anyways,
right.
Next on the good, bad, or the good defensive bright spots. There were some, not many. But there were some. There was the stretch, and during I know we were facing some cupcake teams, but still got to go out on the field and play. There was that stretch, that winning streak was like 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8 or whatever the fuck it was. We were ranked, I think, 3rd or 4th in the league from a defense. We were number 3 or number 4 defense in the league. Jordan Brooks, for me, I know you're kind of not sour on him, but you're not as hot on Jordan Brooks as I am. Unless that's changed. Maybe I've misread.
I'm not as hot on him as 90% of the media is, to be honest with you. But yeah, but 183 tackles tends to get some attention.
183 tackles, finished top 10 in total tackles, was kind of the heart and soul of this defense. And, I blame Weaver for putting him into positions. He's not a coverage linebacker. Never has been. He's not fast. He's not twitchy, and he can't change direction. What does he do?
He's not fast. It's such an understatement, dude. It hurts to watch it.
He's a classic 1990s, 1995 middle linebacker. Yeah. Don't fucking drop him in coverage on Chris Olave or Nico Collins or Tyler Warren. It's not going to end well. It's not. And so that's not on him. He can only, he did his best. He's fucking huffing and puffing out there, trying his best to cover these guys. But when you ask him to run block or to run tackle and to fit the runs and to block up lanes so that your nickel package or your other linebackers or your outside linebackers or your rush safeties, they can kind of come up and make the hit. He was one of the best to do it in the league, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, I think that's somebody else I want to give a shout out to is Rasul Douglas, man. 13 pass deflections in only 15 games. He was top 15 in pass deflections on the year.
Not bad for a guy.
Yeah, legitimately our only good corner for the most of the season. Not a guy that I was even interested in bringing in because last year for Buffalo he was awful. So I thought, oh God, here we go, another Jordan Poyer situation. But no, couldn't have been more wrong about that. That ended up being Jack Jones instead.
But look, we knew it. We knew what Jack Jones was and what he wasn't, right? We said it on the show. He's the Jameis Winston of the fucking cornerback room. He's going to get you 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Right? That's what he is.
I kind of underestimated how bad his tackling was, though. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
There was that
one
other
game. At other times, he was hitting the running back behind the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. I was like, whoa. Gosh, he sure is Jameis Winston.
And I think that's why it's so frustrating because if we never saw it, you'd be like, okay, maybe he can't tackle anymore. But he took over games.
Yeah. Any other bright spots for you? Maybe Chubb. I know Chubb kind of led our team in sacks this year.
Yeah, 8.5. Cool. Sure, good for him. He's a fucking defensive end. That's what he's supposed to do. I wish he had 10 more. I would say from a defensive standpoint, probably Minka. Like Gator said here, right? I think people are a little bit down on his season. I thought all things considered, given the fact that he had a lot of rookies and young guys around him and no cornerback help and all this other stuff, I thought he played great. I want to re-sign him. I don't think we will. I think he wants to go to a contender to kind of finish out his career, but I thought he was a hell of a player and a foundational piece for this team.
Signing a guy like Harbaugh would really convince somebody like Minkah Fitzpatrick to stay, though.
Yeah, you're not lying. You are not lying. But to the chat, right? Extra point for the chat. You guys have been insanely great at keeping the chat going here. Who is y'all's MVP of the season? It doesn't have to be on offense or just on defense. It can be on either side. Who is your guys' MVP of the season?
This is a great point because we didn't call this out. Really, really, really big shout out to Riley Patterson. He was put in an impossible situation and had a really good season for what it was. And we saw teams throughout the league cutting kickers and signing kickers left and right. Mm-hmm. And our kicker was hurt the entire season. And we still had somebody out there who was as reliable as they come, I would say.
Look, he doesn't have the leg that Sanders does. So those 54, 56 yarders were a little questionable, but that's not normal. Riley Patterson was really freaking good this year for us.
There was never a time. He kicked 93% this year. So when he went out there, I wasn't really feeling like, oh shit, here we go again, right? Mm-hmm. For guys with more than 20 field goal attempts on the year, he was number 4.
Yeah. Yep. And
pretty
look,
good.
I'm down right now on our punter Jake Bailey just because of the last game. the last couple games. He went back to last year, Jake Bailey, where I wanted to fucking murder him.
He killed himself there too, by the way. He dropped all the way to 12th from the top 10 in average to 12th after Sunday.
But for the majority of the season, he was borderline Pro Bowl-esque. I mean, he was that good.
Yeah, this is not surprising here. Achane.
Yeah.
Achane.
I mean,
Achane. We got a few. Achane, Brooks, and Greg. Who the hell is Greg Ackerman?
That's our special teams coordinator, and I agree with you 100% on that one. Our special teams under Dan.
Good for you for knowing the special teams coordinator's name.
Our special teams under Dan Rizzi was fucking atrocious. I mean, atrocious for many, many years. And Greg Ackerman came in, was it last year? Or maybe it was this offseason. I think it was this offseason.
I didn't even know his name, let alone when he came in.
And the special teams unit for a lot of the beginning of the season was one of the top units. So it was nice to see.
Daryl, who was your MVP? Oh, you said Achane. All right, got it. Who else is in here who hasn't said it? Gator, where's your MVP?
I was about to say, where's Gator's MVP? Probably Achane. No, knowing him, it's probably Achane.
It has to be Achane, right?
Yep.
I want to see if anybody has somebody other than Achane. All right, let's get into the bad, dude. What do you think about that?
Let's do it.
All right, offensive line depth has to highlight this one here. It's absolutely atrocious, and I think the main reason that Chris Grier got fired is we have gone into every season with him as, at least with Mike McDaniel, every season in the Mike McDaniel era, Chris Grier has failed to put a good unit on the offensive line. He's traded away more talent than he's ever put back on to the lineup. Laramie Tunsil getting traded to the Texans, and then we don't re-sign the cat who ends up in Carolina, whose name I'm forgetting.
Oh, I'm blanking on his name. Chat. Who's the guy? Who's the guard that we lost? That was really good for $100 million.
Robert something.
Robert Hunt.
Robert Hunt. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. We had 9 different offensive line combinations, which to some announcers was a good thing. I remember hearing the announcers talking about it like it was some sort of genius move by McDaniel to put out 9 different offensive line combinations. Like, that's not genius. That's just what he had to do because we had no players.
It's just sad.
We had a lot of pressure on over 35% of our dropbacks, man. Larry Borum was a disaster for the majority of the season. He did have some good games there in the middle before Austin Jackson came back. Austin Jackson's a disaster of a fucking story. Let's hope he's gone after this off.
He should be.
The right side of the line in general was just a disaster. Cole Strange, bad. Larry Borum, bad. Austin Jackson, bad. And then Brunskill, when we tried to line him up in a normal circumstance, wasn't very good either. We bring him in as a 6th lineman to run block and stretch the run, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, he was like a Pro Bowl fucking 6 offensive lineman, but when you put him on the regular line, he's like forgot how to play. It's crazy.
Aaron Brewer looks like is in line to win. There's an award for the best offensive lineman.
No, it's the inaugural Protector Award or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
First year of it. It's brand new.
Oh, it's the first year? So I saw on ESPN that like he's the favorite of the ESPN analysts at least to win it, which is insane.
I told you, man. I told you.
Patrick Paul had a pretty good year. Jonas Savaniah was extremely disappointing. So we had 2 good ones, and I think I list 7 bad ones. Not a good year for the offensive line.
No, I give grace to Savaniah, rookie guard, coming playing the opposite. He was on the right side in college.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry to cut you off. I forgot
What's
one
up?
of the worst signings.
Oh yeah. I was literally about to say this.
Which we were banging the table for in the offseason. Good thing we're not GMs. And we're so bad our GM listened to us.
Yeah. Wow. I haven't been this wrong in a while.
3 snaps, man. He played
when we signed James Daniels, you and I both, like you just said, we were like, dude.
He was one of my names to watch before free agency started.
Me too. Yeah. He was close to the top of my list for players that I wanted us to sign. And wow.
I do remember saying, why is Pittsburgh letting him go? I see.
There we go.
Well, good question.
Yeah. I fucking love Daryl here. Two didn't die. So Brewer has a strong case. Yeah, you're right.
Solid.
Enough said. For me, RB2, RB3 inconsistencies, right? I mean, non-Achane running back. So Ollie Gordon Jr., who I'm still a huge, massive fan of.
Yeah, me too.
And will be for the foreseeable future because I love the way he plays and I love the way he runs. And Jalen Wright averaged under 3.8 yards combined per carry. That's granted
not great.
Based on having 9 horrible offensive linemen, maybe we understand why it's 3.8 and not 4.2. But
Achane didn't have a problem behind him though.
Oh, but Achane's
he's special.
5 in the league. Right? There's 5 other Achanes in the league. bottom third in short yardage conversion rate, which is now this is not Achane. This is not
That's
Achane.
the real problem right there. That's the real one.
And again, it's a sneaky stat because this also has to do with the offensive lineman. The offensive lineman got to block. They got to open up the holes. Yeah. But too many times did I see Jalen Wright take the wrong hole.
Jalen Wright just has he has no bruiser in him. You see Ollie get the ball and he's running full speed like a goddamn tank towards whoever's in front of him. Mm-hmm. Jalen gets that ball and he runs into him and falls flat on his ass like the kid in Little Giants that just runs into his offensive lineman.
Yep.
It's not,
and it's there was Jalen Wright had one hell of a game where he had like 180 or 130 something yards or whatever the hell it was.
Good game by him.
That was phenomenal. Right, that was phenomenal. Yeah. He did everything that made me fall in love with him coming out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then he reverted back to why he became the third running back, not the second running back. Ollie Gordon, I thought, got kind of the short end of the stick this season. I thought his usage rate was very up and down. It was very weird, right? Mm-hmm. He took the RB2 position from Jalen Wright and was getting consistent carries. It was like a backfield by committee, which I thought was very smart. And then as soon as we went to 6 offensive linemen, for some reason, I don't know, maybe he slept with McDaniel's wife. I have no idea because he just stopped being used. I have no idea. I don't understand. You had thunder and lightning, and I hate using that that terminology with Achane and Ollie Gordon. And Ollie Gordon is a fucking phenomenal runner. You go back to the year before he came out, he was the number 1 running back in the league or in college. He had like 1,800 plus yards, 20 something touchdowns. He could catch, he could block. He was 6'2". Guy was awesome. Had a horrible year with a bad team. The following year, we picked him up in whatever. Where did we get him? The 5th round, 6th round, something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't understand it. I think he's obviously still going to be on this team. I think him and Achane are going to be phenomenal. They're a great 1-2 punch.
It's crazy thinking about this draft because we liked so many of the outside of the Grant pick. I felt like the draft was a home run.
Yeah, I love the Grant pick. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, for me, outside of the Grant pick.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't mad at the Grant pick. I understood why it was happening. I just thought with the other players on the table that there were better options. Yeah. But the rest of the draft, I was super pumped. We trade up for Savanaya with offensive guard, something we desperately needed. A+, right? We get 3 potential contributors in the 5th round, right?
Steals.
With Jordan Phillips, Dante Trader, and Jason Marshall Jr. Mm-hmm. Great. We get the NCAA leader in rushing from 2023 in Ollie Gordon in the 6th round. And then Zeke Biggers, another giant mammoth of a man at defensive tackle in the 7th round. I was so pumped for this draft and so not pumped to see them mishandled as they normally are.
Yeah, you know what Zeke Biggers remind me of? This is going to be a callback for this. It's going to date me a little bit. I think most of our fans will get this. Remember the movie The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis?
Of course.
Zeke Biggers reminds me of those guys, that had the stones. They were like those aliens. That's what he was. Short arms, short legs.
Just kind of wobbling through. Yeah.
That's what Zeke
they couldn't defend themselves at all. It was just useless.
Throw them right smack dab in the middle of this line. Let them take up the middle 3 offensive linemen. And that's exactly what he did. And he was fucking outstanding at it.
All right, last one in the bad list before we get into the truly ugly of this season is freaking injuries, dude. Why are we always the most injured team in the league? We saw Tyreek Hill go down at the beginning of the year so far in the past that I forgot he even existed for most of the season. We saw, of course, James Daniels only played 3 freaking snaps for us. It was supposed to solidify the right side of the line alongside Austin Jackson. Speaking of Austin Jackson, he's on that list too. Who else did we lose this year? Surprisingly, Tua didn't get hurt. He just sucked.
But Waddle was out a bunch. Achane was out a couple games.
But the number of injuries we had to big names just completely our explosive plays were cut in half, man. The number of touchdowns per game dropped, or number of points per game dropped nearly a full touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It just I feel like we're cursed sometimes, and then I think, we're not the Jets, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, our first, second, and third string secondaries all down.
So Storm Duck, Artie Burns, and Cater Kohu all went down.
And then Juju Brents came in and looked fucking phenomenal for 3 games, and then he tore his ACL or whatever. He's out.
Juju went out. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like we lost Minka for a game or 2 as well.
A couple games. Yeah, he didn't. Minka didn't play the last couple games of the season.
the corner rotation was hurt all damn season. I mean, we lost
Mhm.
Jason Marshall for a little while, and then he came back. It was just absolutely insane. And
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about that. I do know that the coaching wasn't good enough to supplant it. I mean, you can use that as an excuse all you want, but then you look at San Francisco, who's been playing with 25% of a roster the entire freaking year, and they won 13 games. So I'm just saying, sometimes coaching can overcome even the worst of situations.
Of course it can, but also Chris Greer was notorious for what?
Drafting injured players. Well,
Drafting and signing both.
Yeah, Jason Sanders, which we forgot all about because Riley was good.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean but that's what happens when your GM tries to bargain shop constantly and then overpay. I mean, he's paying premium dollars for bargain bin players. And I don't mean to say it in that I'm not trying to insult the players on this team or the players that played for us, but you have somebody like James Daniels that we give $30 million to or whatever it was, coming off of a torn AC, a torn Achilles. And then he comes in and his Achilles tweaks and then he tears his pec and he's out for the year or whatever the fuck he did or something like that. You know, it's been a historical proven track record of Chris Greer going out saying, okay, here are the players. I'm not going to sign the healthy ones. I'm going to sign the hurt ones. And we're going to show you that we know what we're doing. And we don't. And it's just constant. You know, Austin Jackson, here you go. True Blazers, man, beating me to shit left and right. Austin Jackson missed 39 games in 6 years. And we not only gave him a contract, we doubled down on that contract. We gave him
the Chris
more money.
Greer special, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what they're. So that was a conversation too, and then and this kind of flows into ugly. Not one of the topics in ugly, but ugly and how this team is run. In that, over the past few years of the Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer era, players have known that all they need to do is make it known that they're unhappy and make it known that they're going to have a phantom injury and they're not going to play, and they get a new contract.
Mm-hmm.
And like. I mean, we saw it with Tyreek. We saw it with Jalen Ramsey, right? We probably Austin Jackson, I'm sure, had a little play in there as well. Like, it's insane, dude, for how often that has happened to this team, and it just makes them look so weak.
Mm-hmm.
Minor MVP. So if he fired McDaniel, I'd give him a full MVP vote.
Yeah, I'd give him a Webby too, and an Oscar and everything else. And if he can sign John Harbaugh, I'll fucking carry him around Biscayne Boulevard.
By the way, before we get further along, because we were just talking offensive line for a little bit there, I want to shout out to Liam Eichenberg, who's not a player that I loved at all, but missed this entire season. And for a while, we thought maybe it was mental health issues because we didn't hear a fucking lick from anybody about what was going on. They just updated on ESPN. They had a knee injury, and it's probably a career-ending knee injury.
Is it really? I didn't see that. So, I knew it was a knee injury. I didn't realize it was career-ending.
Yeah, so and it says Eichenberg told reporters Monday that he's uncertain he'll be able to play again because of his knee. So at least it's physical and not mental. Huge shout out to him. Obviously, I do a lot of work with mental health, me and Holly. So anytime mental health comes up, I just want to make sure that those guys are good. You know, they're humans too.
Absolutely. Shout out to him. Yeah, Zach, here's another one. Zach, too, got paid and disappeared. He did have a lot on his plate, though. That is very, very true. I mean, don't forget he had what equated to 3 different rookies around him at any given time that he had to coach up on the fly.
Shout out to us, though. You and I called this out when he got paid. If he didn't have Christian Wilkins beside him or he didn't have Calais Campbell beside him, would he be as good? The answer was no.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
The answer was no. Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you. Cam Smith.
Oh, shit.
Forgot about
Bro,
that.
I totally forgot.
We could go all day. All right, guys. In the chat, extra point for the chat. Who is the biggest non-quarterback issue this season? While you think of that and you type in your answers in the chat, we're going to get into the ugly of the 2025 Miami Dolphins season. That's right. We're recapping the season. Why? Because we are gluttons for punishment and we love talking to you all.
Slightly sadistic.
Josh, I'm throwing it over to you first since I finished out the bad section. Who was your number one ugliest storyline of this season?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'll go with Tua Tagovailoa. This season.
No.
I know, shocking. This was hard for me. And I'm going to be completely candid with every single one of you guys. If you are regular watchers, you know what I'm about to say. I won't speak for you, Anthony. I was a Tua guy. I liked him coming out of college. I was very much in the tank for Tua. I actually liked him more than Justin Herbert coming out of college based on team fit and what this team was under Brian Flores at the time. And I know. And I thought he got a raw deal with Brian Flores, who I am not a fan of in any way, shape, or form. I hate the way he ran this team. I think I won't actually go into it. And revitalized his career, started going up with Mike McDaniel, peaked at 2023. And I said, here he is. Alabama 2 was finally here. And then he went tits up, ass down, got his money, stopped playing, stopped giving a shit, forgot how to fucking play football, forgot how to do the basic stuff, and went horribly bad in every single major statistical category. I am no longer a Tua guy, if you couldn't tell from that glowing recommendation. He finished the season outside of the top 20 in QBR, led the league in interceptions, I believe, unless somebody caught up to him while he was out and benched.
His Gino were neck and neck there for a while. I'll double check it for you.
Pretty sure that he finished with one more, if I'm not mistaken, but I could very well be wrong.
I'll check while you go.
Yep. His interception rate nearly
Gino
tripled.
had 2 more than him, by the way.
2 more, but he played
Gino with 17. Gino with 17 and 15 games. Tua with 15 and 14 games.
Right. So if you Tua played 4 less games than Gino. So
1 less game.
1 less game?
Gino only played 15 this year.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, bad. And the team went 1-5 in multi-turnover games with Tua at the helm. Tua could not drop back, could not get past his first read. God forbid the defense played up close and took away his first or second read. He panicked. Anytime somebody came within visual line of sight of him, he happy feet started. He stopped looking downfield. He looked at the ground and he would dance around in the pocket until he got sacked, because God forbid he throws the fucking ball away. And I don't know. It was just not good. He seemingly forgot the basics. I mean, like high school level fundamental basics of how to play the quarterback position. Tua forgot. I'm not saying that Tua's washed. I'm not saying he'll never play quarterback again, or he shouldn't play quarterback again, or he won't ever play it at a high-ish level again. But Tua needs to get to another team. He needs a breath of fresh air. He needs to change the scenery. He needs to be a QB2 for a couple of years and kind of figure his life out and figure out what the fuck is going on with him. Get it right, and then maybe he can start again. But yeah, he was horrible this year.
I don't believe he'll ever be a high-level quarterback. And then,
I said high-ish.
I just don't. I don't see it, man. I don't have respect for a guy who quits after he gets paid, and that's exactly what it looks like. Whether 100%. Or not it's true, I don't know.
Hey,
we don't get optics are everything, man, and that's what we see, right? And then the shout out to True Blaze. This is an exact quote, by the way, from Tua. When asked if how he would feel about playing somewhere else next season, he said that would be dope.
Yeah, you can go fuck yourself, Tua.
That would be dope. I don't think I do not believe there is a Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield revitalization coming for Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's one of those guys that maybe will get a chance to back up for a little while, and teams will be sick of his limitations quickly, and he'll be out of the league in 2 years. Listen, the Miami. I have no love lost for Tua because I feel like the Dolphins did everything humanly possible to set him up for success. They went as far as bringing in a coach specifically for him, to design a system specifically around him. And he still couldn't succeed beyond having a cupcake schedule. He still couldn't beat contenders. He still couldn't play in the cold. He couldn't play in prime time. Any sort of, what do you call it? Anytime something went wrong, it was absolute panic, like you mentioned. It just...
Yeah, he didn't know how to handle adversity well at all.
It's done. It's over. I was really excited for the player. I am no longer excited for the player. I'm excited to move on from the player. And that's just the nature of the NFL. It's cyclical.
Yep.
All right, let's talk contracts, though.
Yeah.
Let's talk contracts. All right. Fully guaranteed money, massive dead cap hits, every option limits our roster flexibility. Next year, we hardly have any roster flexibility if we do indeed cut Sir Tagovailoa, or however you pronounce his goddamn kid's name. I know that there is some light at the end of the tunnel because next year would probably be a one and done in terms of like cap
Purgatory.
getting killed in the cap, let's say, because I know that we can cut ties with a handful of other players to help offset Tua, but you never truly offset that much money. We're still gonna be handcuffed a little bit next year.
Of course.
But if you're looking at a rookie quarterback anyways, that's usually the majority of your finances, so that kind of helps to balance things out. Regardless of it, the ugly of the situation has just been the contracts that Chris Grier has continued to dish out to players who don't deserve it, to players who complained in the media and decided, like I mentioned before, to threaten to sit out, getting handed a new contract, right? Jalen Ramsey should have been gone last year after all the bitching and complaining he did. Tyreek Hill pretty much quit on the team in week 17 of 2024. He was welcomed back, or week 18, whatever.
Didn't pretty much quit. He legitimately quit.
He did quit. He left the field. He left the game.
Yeah, I mean, you can't quit more than he quit.
So I just, man, I know it goes back to the GM thing again, but we can't, like, I can't emphasize enough just how stupid these moves were. And when your cap guy is saying to you, man, I don't think we should really give to 150 million guaranteed. I don't know.
Maybe listen.
Maybe listen. I don't know.
Look, this offseason is going to suck. Right. Yeah. Next offseason is going to suck. But this is what happens. This is what happens when you let somebody make some bad decisions. To steal a phrase from Kyle Krabs, you got to take your medicine. You got to take your medicine sometime and not be the Saints and continuously kick the can down the road. Take it to the face, take it like a man, and we'll fucking get up off the canvas and we'll keep moving. Because fact of the matter is, this team, irregardless of who we sign as a GM and who we have as a head coach, this team is going to, it needs to be ripped down to the studs. I mean, like down to the foundation of what a franchise is from the culture standpoint, from the front office, all the way to the players. And so it shouldn't really matter. As long as you have enough money to put 52 players on your team, we need to understand that barring some kind of crazy miracle, we're going to be drafting in the top 5 next year. That's just the reality of where we're at right now. We had a 6-year window where we went all in the last 5 years of this window. And now we have to rip it down to the studs, build it back up. We're going to have another 5-year window. We're going to see where we're at, and we're going to keep the ball rolling, hopefully. I don't think our contract situation is as horrific as some media members will lead you to believe. It's not great. Don't get me wrong. But barring and like I said, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, barring any the expected moves that we should be making, getting rid of Austin Jackson, that saves us like $18 million. Yeah. Cutting Chubb, that saves us like 16 million, 20 something million, $21 million or something like that. Tyreek, $32 million in cap savings. Cutting Tua as a post June 1st. We incur,
it's like 93 million.
Well, it's 93
in year 1 and then 60 and a half in year 2. Yeah.
Well, it's 50. Well, the problem is when you cut them June 1st, everything escalates. So it's really 50 and 30 or whatever equates to 90, 93 and change. Once you cut them June 1st, everything escalates together and it's out the door. And you can defer some of that money to next year, which we will do. So it'll be like 60 some odd million in dead cap, give or take. I don't have the numbers in front of me. And probably 30 some odd million the following year. Yeah. But in 2027, we should theoretically, and I just named a few players, we should theoretically have close to $100 million in cap space.
Wait, guys, in 2027, we could be good.
Well, 2027, we're going to have a shitload of money, right? And that's how long it takes to build a team. It takes a couple of years. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys need to get this through your head if you haven't already. We are going to suck. Have you looked at our strength of schedule? We have the second hardest schedule from a strength of schedule next season.
If those teams are good again.
Right. I know. I'm just saying, like, it's not going to be pretty, but everything in context. Take your medicine.
Contract reality has me shook.
And in the offseason, just so you guys are aware, I will do my best or Anthony and I should say, sorry, will do our very best
Just
to kind of outline and do a deep dive into the Dolphins cap situation, and we'll do our best to lay it out so everyone's kind of on the same page.
You were correct in that you were going to do that. I'm not touching What's the next ugly?
Yeah, fair. For me, it's third quarter collapses. We touched on it a little bit earlier when we were talking about McDaniel. It's unacceptable. The lack of halftime adjustments and the fact that we were one of 5 teams historically. And let me see that again for those in the back that didn't hear it the first time. Historically, one of 5 teams in the NFL to be outscored by the margin that we were, which was 132-27 in the third quarter on the season. There was no visible counter adjustments. When we went in at halftime, the games were close. You knew the opposing team was going to make adjustments. What did we do? We sat there with a thumb up our ass and drank our juice boxes and ate our orange slices. You just can't do that. I don't know what the fuck was going on in that locker room at halftime. I don't know what was being said or rather not being said. But this isn't an opinion. This isn't like, I think we sucked in the third quarter. We were historically bad in the third quarter. It's statistically in front of us.
And put it in the chat so you know. Here, we'll throw it up.
There you go. So, so that's my ugly. We don't need to harp on it. We've touched on it now 2.5 times throughout the show. But yeah, that was fucking horrible.
I think the last ugly is going to be surprising. What do you think? I think people might be surprised by it.
I think it's surprising and not surprising at the same time. And that's. Do you want to kick this off or do you want me to?
Yeah, go. I think so. The last ugly is the Quinn Ewers factor. And you all might be saying, what the hell are you talking about? He played great for 3 games. He played okay for 3 games. I agree.
Yeah.
I think what we're talking about here is this idea that seemingly is out in the ether right now that they're satisfied with having Quinn Ewers be the guy next year.
Yeah.
That, to me, is a disaster. Listen, I was not a Quinn Ewers fan in Texas. He came in, we drafted him. I fucking hated that. That drove me crazy. He played good ball for 3 games. He played way better.
Okay ball.
Well, for where he was drafted, though, contextually. Like, for where he was drafted, he played a lot better than I thought he was going to play. His game against the Buccaneers in the first half was fantastic.
Absolutely.
But holy crap, dude. We cannot be saying to ourselves, yeah, dude, we can do it. Next year, we're going to cut Tua. We got Quinn Ewers on the roster. We're going to run it back with Quinn. That's a terrible idea.
I mean, maybe we do because we don't have any cap. We don't have
any cap. Yeah, we can't really sign anybody. But I would rather draft somebody in the first round, even though I know that people are saying it's not a good draft guy. Whatever. Mm-hmm. I would rather take my chances on that than throw Quinn out there and be like, "Yep, here's our quarterback. No competition. Here we go." Yeah, I don't know, man. Am I overreacting here? Like, is it me?
No, I'm with you 100%. This is not a slight on Ewers. Ewers is a 7th round rookie quarterback who was the number 1 recruit out of high school going to Texas, who fought off and held off Arch Manning when Arch Manning came over to Texas, which is no small feat because of his pedigree and the clout of his name and the hype of him coming to Texas. But coming out of college, Quinn Ewers had mechanical issues. He would constantly drop his shoulders during his throws. He would constantly look off receivers, and he would make his decisions too quick. He would not let plays develop. That's exactly what we saw here. That is not a slight on him. Fact of the matter is, he's a 7th round rookie quarterback for a fucking reason, right? He's not a savior of a franchise. Look, Brock Purdy's happened once in a lifetime. He's not the next Brock Purdy. Do I think he has earned the right to compete for the starting job next year with somebody? 100%. Will he win it? I have no fucking idea. However, I think, sorry, Anthony, really quick. I think he is more suited to be a QB2 in this league than he ever will be a starter.
Things I really loved from him is the poise in the pocket, the ability not to panic when the pressure got on him, and knowing where his number 1 read was.
Yeah.
When Waddle was on the field, he knew where Waddle was at all times.
Yep.
Right? When Waddle was out and Waller was on the field, he knew where Waller was, right? He knew where Dolchik was against the Patriots because Dolchik was his number 1 in that game. He did a lot of good things, and I don't want to take anything from him. But our
No.
comments on YouTube have been absolutely flooded with people saying that he's the quarterback of the future, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
I truly don't get it. Like, that is such an overreaction that I don't even know what to say to it. This is an interesting take. I would not do this.
No, because I don't think Purdy's good in any other system but the 49ers system. Yeah, we don't have that.
I don't even. He had an amazing 3-game run, and then got blown up by Seattle. I am not a Purdy believer.
I think Purdy's pretty good. I think he's a top 10 quarterback, top 15 quarterback in this league, but I don't think
15 is only top half of the league, though.
Look, Daryl, I'll be curious to hear your thought on this, and everyone else in the chat too. But like, I'm of the school of, you don't get a quarterback and build a team. You build your team, and then you find a quarterback that fits it, and then you get your quarterback. So we're not going to have a team. It makes no sense to trade for Purdy. It makes no sense, for example, to trade up in this draft and go get Mendoza or Ty Johnson or whatever the Alabama quarterback is, TJ, whatever the fuck his name is, Ty Simpson.
Chat,
yeah.
I come from a different philosophy. It's funny because we agree on so much, but I am actually I am a draft a quarterback till you find one guy. No matter if your team is built or not, I think talent shows through, regardless of if you have a team.
And I get it. The only reason I'm coming that way is because who's your most expensive player on your team? Quarterbacks or maybe your left tackle. But in some cases,
you need to be a strong enough organization not to pay the guy if he's not the guy. That's right. The thing.
But what I'm saying, if he is the guy, let's say we trade up. And I'm just using Mendoza because I'm in draft mode. Yeah. Let's say we trade up the number 1 overall pick. We get Mendoza, and he's the fucking next Josh Allen. Yeah. I'm not saying he is, but let's just pretend he's worth every bit of the $350 million contract that you would owe him come year 5 of his rookie deal, right? The problem with that is if it takes you 3 years to build your team, now you only get a year and a half of a rookie scaled contract with that quarterback, as opposed to, that's why I think
it's a good point. But it did take the Bills 3 years to get up to speed with Josh Allen, and I think Bills fans are quite all right with what they ended up with. I mean,
100%. Right.
I think. Listen, I think the first 2 picks in the draft are locked. I think it's the kid from Indiana and a kid from Oregon. I think those 2 quarterbacks are the top 2 picks.
Assuming he comes out, because it's still...
Right. He still hasn't announced that. The kid from Alabama, Ty Simpson, just announced that he's going to come out. I think he will garner a lot of attention. He had a really good season. The problem with I am terrible. I am terrible at figuring out what quarterbacks from college are going to be good. And I don't feel that bad about that because so are NFL teams. But like... if we just look at last year, Drew Allure at a Penn State was all the rage, right? Guy's not even being mentioned anymore. Like, who? That's my concern, is that these guys who have not been mentioned for the first 3 years of their career, and then all of a sudden they're mentioned in year 4. How the fuck are you supposed to assess that, man?
Yeah. Like, I mean, Nussmeier from LSU last year was like, if he comes out, he's a first-round quarterback for sure. Now he's like, he might not even get drafted.
Yeah. And it was the same for Quinn. Quinn Ewers was a first, second-round pick last year if he would have came out. He plays another year. He's a 7th-round pick.
And I feel like we reached on him, if I'm being completely honest. Not a slight on him. But
listen, the quarterback conversation is going to be fantastic. I love talking quarterbacks, even though I just self-admitted that I don't know that much about them. But listen, what I'm looking for in a quarterback is somebody who is football smart and off-the-field smart. If you got smarts, man, I think you'll be fine.
Yep. And for me, it's that plus, and this is going to sound super petty, and I apologize ahead of time. I don't want a small quarterback anymore.
Yeah.
I need somebody that can see over the offensive line and doesn't actively stand on the podium and say, I missed that read because I can't see over my offensive lineman. I need somebody that's 6'2", 6'3", and that has somewhat of an arm. Somewhat of an arm. You don't have to have a cannon. It would be great if you did. But because I put a lot of stock into being accurate over just being able to throw it really far.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the Drew Brees is a once in a lifetime, right?
My problem is I don't think Carson Beck has a maturity. If I'm looking at the maturity level,
no,
I don't know. Something rubs me the wrong way about him.
Isn't he dating a porn star too? Like, what are you doing, dude?
I mean, good for him. But
he broke up with his girlfriend in Georgia when he came to Miami, and then he started dating like an OnlyFans model or a porn star or something. I'm not. Hey, you do you.
Good choices.
I'm not judging, but
Did you know he's a wide?
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm not saying go draft a 6'8" wide receiver and say,
Yo,
well, he's tall, so he can throw the
such
ball.
a good comment, though. Oh my God. Remember the Tannehill era? All we heard
Ugh,
nonstop. Did you know he was a quarterback at Texas A&M? Or a wide receiver, I mean?
it's disgusting.
Unbelievable. All right, boys and girls, that's it for today's show. It's a long one, but it's a 2025 season recap. I think we deserve to go a little over on this one. So let's go over the checklist. Josh, hire the right GM, decide on McDaniel early, a.k.a. do it whatever you can to get John Harbaugh in here.
Yep.
Figure out the rest of the coaching staff. Fix the offensive line. That's a long fucking list. Determine if we have a legitimate RB2 on the roster. I think Ollie Gordon fits that,
I do too.
to me.
Yep.
Address Tyreek Hill's future. Is he gone? If he is, make it official. Why
He's
are we
gone.
waiting around?
Yeah.
Then we have to address the big contracts, right? We got Austin Jackson, Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, Bradley Chubb, all cuttable-ish. That will save us some money. Then we need to make a definitive quarterback plan for a team in transition. Like, I get it. Quinn coming in to compete, fantastic. Let's not him be the only option. Have him be the only option, right? And then identify your foundational pieces and re-sign them if needed. Aaron Brewer, De'Von Achane, Jordan Brooks, all need contract extensions. These are the guys you should be giving money, not the loudmouths who are complaining off the field. And if you haven't already subscribed, please, please, please subscribe. We are aiming for 150 subscribers by February 11th. If we do hit the 150 subscriber mark on February 11th, we are going to do a big giveaway. It'll be some Dolphins swag, some 305 Gridiron swag. It's going to be a blast. We'll probably have a show dedicated to it if it happens while we're on hiatus. So drop us a like, drop us a subscription. We are going to be here all off season. So before we break, let's talk what that looks like. So Josh and I still have to sit down and plan out the rest of the off season, but what we have planned is the next 3 weeks. We are all set to record an extremely long set of positional grades that we are going to release over the next 3 weeks. So you're going to look for 9 episodes over the next 3 weeks. You're going to get episodes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week for the next 3 weeks. And then we will be back with whatever it is our new schedule for the offseason will be. We will have that all figured out at that point. I don't yet know what our live show schedule will be. Again, we will let you know. We are going to try to do better at posting stuff on our YouTube channel, like on the community tab of the YouTube channel. So, if you have the bell on or if you're subscribed to us, you will get those notifications when we do that. Hoping to...
Also, one thing so during that 3-week hiatus while we're taking a breather from the season, getting our plan together for the rest of the offseason, the free agency live shows, we're going to talk about doing maybe an actual live draft show for round 1. We're going to be live for the whole first round of the draft, which is going to be real fun. Recap shows, so on and so forth. If there are any big breaking news, Tyreek Hill gets gone, we somehow trade Tua to the fucking 49ers or whatever, or John Harbaugh gets hired or Mike McDaniel gets, what are the big chunks, right? We'll obviously come on and we'll do live shows. So we'll do those immediately as soon as we can get together. So keep an eye out for those as well.
Now's the time to suggest content too. If there's something you want to see, let us know. We are putting the content calendar together. It is a clean slate. We have ideas, but nothing set in stone yet. So shoot us over some ideas if you have anything in particular that you want to see. For instance, Josh loves putting, and I do too. I was tongue in cheek, but we love looking at the cap situation and seeing all that. Yeah, absolutely. We can do that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for such an amazing first season as the 305 Gridiron. Those of you who followed us over from the Fins Forecast, we really appreciate you. Those of you who are new to the show and joined us as the 305 Gridiron, really super thankful. We took a leap jumping off of a 4-person show into a 2-person show. I think it went fantastic. I know Josh did too.
Yep.
So really happy to have done that and looking forward to the offseason. It's the best time of year for Dolphins fans because we are undefeated.
It just feels like home.
It feels like home. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. Potentially a new coach, a new GM, a new quarterback. This is going to be the best offseason yet. We can't wait to share it with you. But until next time, this has been another episode of the 305 Gridiron. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Fins up. Oh, for Josh. Sorry. Josh, a.k.a. Aqua Ace. I'm Anthony Pinzone. Fins up, baby.